Hi, I'm Yui Shu.
And I'm Julie Kraftchick.
We're active daters turned dating insiders.
Here to dive into everything modern dating and relationships.
Welcome to DATEABLE. Hello, friends.
Welcome back to another episode of DATEABLE.
This is a BFF episode. We have two BFFs.
And it's not us.
Oh, right, exactly. It's a foursome
Other
BFF.
BFFs. Male BFFs, which is very endearing. You know, you don't hear of
agree.
like tight bonds with men as much as we'd like to hear.
And they've been lifelong BFFs.
Yeah.
We have Sean, who is sharing why dating has been so hard in a highly ambitious city like San Francisco, where he feels like he's had a hard time competing. I'm going to put that in quotes, competing with other men who, in his eyes, make a lot more money, have a lot more resources than he does.
And he also talks about like the ratio, which we've heard from men a lot in a city like San Francisco. And then you hear the opposite in like cities like New York from women, where the ratios are out of balance and people feel like they're at a deficit because there's more, you know, men in San Francisco than women for men. And then in New York, it's the reverse. And I get it to some degree. I went to BU for college and it was 70% women. And I understand the feeling, but also like how much of it's mindset. And there's a lot of variables there too we'll go into.
Which his BFF, Ned, brings up quite a bit in this episode. Ned is an interesting guy. He's been on our podcast before. Bottle Ned, if anybody remembers, he's a bottle digger. I can't even say that with a straight face because everyone's like, come again? No, he digs bottles.
He's a memorable person. Yes.
He's a very memorable personality. He is Sean's best friend, and he currently has a girlfriend, and they've been together for 3 years, and he's very much in love. And he doesn't have any of those things that Sean thinks you need to be in a relationship in San Francisco. So Ned's here to really show Sean that these are your limiting beliefs.
Yeah. So in this episode, it's a good one. I think what I love about this episode is just how full circle it goes. So it starts off, you know, talking about what we think is maybe getting in the way, and then we get real deep. So I think it's a super vulnerable episode. I encourage people to listen through because you can really see like the thought processes real time, and it's fascinating to me. So we really dive into like why we hold on to some of these beliefs that may not be serving us. And I think we all have them. Like I admit I've had a lot of stuff in the past just about like, you know, physical appearance and like things like that you really start to believe like this is the reason. And then it turns out like, oh, actually, maybe that isn't what's going on. And we look a little deeper and maybe there's impossible standards that we hold ourselves or letting our fears get in the way. So there's a lot to really unpack that goes below the surface of what we think might be the issues.
And we sort of get in a heated debate on this whole being picky versus settling discussion. And Ned, you know, has very strong opinions about why Sean is single. And I don't actually think before this conversation, Sean explicitly asked Ned, why do you think I'm single? Which then, for anybody listening, you should just ask your best friend. Have you ever even thought about it? Like, why do you think I'm single? And Ned does not hold back.
Does not hold back. What I think is so fascinating here, we talk about this like cycle of pickiness, like when you feel like other people are picky, but then maybe you're picky. And then I personally have held this belief for a really long time that I think this is one of the biggest issues on dating apps, that everyone kind of thinks like, oh, I can do better. And there's just like a cycle of everyone feeling that way.
And then understanding why you make the choices that you do. Maybe it's from childhood experiences, family experiences, what you've seen has worked out for relationships or hasn't. and why that influences who you're picking to be your partner.
Yeah, and this goes deep. Like we mentioned, it goes deep. I think it's such a good episode for people to listen to, and I think very relatable because a lot of people struggle with some of these, like, intellectually, I get this, but I still feel this way, and how do I rectify it? So yeah, this is a good episode.
And if you don't want to talk to your BFF about why you're single, you could always use our AI-enabled dating coach app, which I do all the time. Sometimes maybe I don't want to hear from a personal friend, but I will hear it from an AI that's been trained by Julie and I. Hell yeah, we'll tell you the truth, but also like nothing held back. We're here to help you. And that's what this app is made to do. It's one of our favorite things that we've done in the last few years is creating this app for you all that's been trained by everything we've learned in our 10 years of doing this podcast.
Are we ready to call it Yuli yet? Because I think this name is so good. We had talked about this at South by Southwest, like the AI version of us. And yes, it's clearly trained on our data. It's a little different. We're not like replicating ourselves, but I think we need to call it that because it's just such a good name.
Okay, why not?
Let's
People already sometimes get our names wrong, so
right.
Let's just create a whole other name.
But if you want to learn more about the AI dating coaching app, or Yuli, easier to say.
Yuli for short.
You can go to studio.com/dateable. Awesome. Well, before we get into it with Sean and Ned, let's take a minute to hear from our sponsors. This podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp. In March, we celebrate International Women's Day. So take a minute to reflect on your life if you identify as woman, how much you're doing and carrying. If you're anything like me, it's always juggling a million things and carrying a lot of invisible load. I recently was feeling a bit overwhelmed, so I turned to BetterHelp. With over 30,000 therapists, BetterHelp is the world's largest online therapy platform, having served over 6 million people globally. And the best part is that you get matched with the right therapist for you based on your needs and preferences. All I had to do was fill out a short questionnaire sharing what I was going through, and then you'll get matched with a therapist in as little as 24 hours. Typically, they get the match right the first time, but if you need to make a switch, they can easily do that for you and rematch you with another therapist. Your emotional well-being matters. Find support and feel lighter in therapy. Sign up and get 10% off at BetterHelp.com. That's BetterHelp.com.
Getting dressed should not be this hard, but somehow it is. And that's why I love Armoire, because Armoire makes getting dressed easy with a clothing rental membership that helps you build the perfect wardrobe with high-quality, unique brands picked just for you. You just take a quick 5-minute style quiz, choose from your personalized closet, and your pieces show up at your door in as little as 2 days. I've been using Armoire a lot when I travel, and I'm heading to the East Coast soon, and instead of buying coats and sweaters I'll never wear in LA, I rented the cutest ones through Armoire. And the hot tip is I get them delivered to the hotel, so I don't have to carry them in my luggage. It's also my favorite way to test new styles without committing or cluttering my closet. I love that I always have something new to wear without the decision fatigue and without feeling guilty about wearing something once. Right now, Dateable listeners can give Armoire a try and get up to 60% off their first month. That's up to $150 off. Just visit armoire.style/dateable. That's ARMOIRE.style/DATEABLE to get up to 60% off your first month and never worry about what to wear again. Try Armoire today.
Okay, let's hear it from the two BFFs about why dating is hard and what might actually be getting in our way.
Okay, is this the first time we've had two guy friends on the show together before? This might be a first.
I think so.
Yes, we've got Sean and Ned, who are, could I say your BFFs? You're really close friends.
1992.
That was when we were preschool.
Yeah.
Best friends forever.
That's adorable. Well, Sean is here to tell us about why dating has been hard for him. And apparently you have some very strong theories about why dating is hard. But Ned is here for moral support, but also you have your own perspective about why it's been hard for Sean.
Yes, I do. I do have ideas and experience and observations.
And maybe not just for myself, but also for himself too.
Yeah, for sure. I think it applies to us all, you know?
Yes, we've had the pleasure of having Ned on the podcast multiple times. I feel like you're at a different phase now because you have a very long-term girlfriend at this point. How long have you been with your girlfriend now? It's been a few years, right?
Dude, you would not believe it. the longest relationship I've ever had in my life.
Oh,
Almost 3 years.
amazing. Amazing.
Wow.
I'm actually really proud of her. Her name is Paige, and we call her Perfect Paige.
She is
Oh.
perfect for Ned. I've met her a few times.
Perfect
She
for
really
Ned.
is.
Yeah, there was some rough years there. I've been on this show talking about them. And I think the biggest takeaway for me was I really stopped giving a shit. I stopped giving a shit. It was like the enlightenment process. So I stopped caring. I stopped chasing other people and trying to give them what they thought that they would want from me and be the person that I thought they'd want a little bit, even though I never fully did that. But I was like, oh, I got to try to chase, like people aren't going to like me unless I prove myself to them. And then once I stopped giving a shit, I started like meeting girls on dating apps and then just making friends with them and finding out a lot more about like the way women think. And like, I was like, I'm not going to try to hook up with this girl. It was this enlightenment that I had, this moment. It was like 5 years ago. Just become friends with her and then see where it goes and then start from a different place than just trying to like hook up first as fast as possible before they don't like me anymore. And then whatever. And then when I did that, I stopped chasing people. And then I started this YouTube channel during the pandemic where I dig for antiques. That's like an archaeology adventure comedy channel. And when I started that, I was like, oh, you know what? I'm so into this. I'm just going to focus on this. And then I completely pretty much sidelined dating. And hey, what do you know? Then some girl stalked me on YouTube and was looking for old bottles and artifacts like in the desert. And then she's like, I want to learn more. And she found me on YouTube. She contacted me, slid into my DMs on Instagram, and she came to me and she was hot.
It's amazing.
Yes.
It's so amazing. And, I think that it's a good lesson of just, of leaning into your interests and not chasing. But today we're talking about Sean. So we're going to move it over to Sean. And
Go for it.
Sean, you and I, we've known each other for quite some time. And you sent me a text that you were like, I want to talk about on the podcast how living in San Francisco, it's a highly ambitious city, a lot of tech money in general, and, people in the industry. And you were finding it challenging to, date here because of just the wealth and all of that. So I'd love to hear more about what your experience has been.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a kind of a blessing and a curse. We live in one of the best cities in the world, amazing climate, some of the smartest people in the world, tech entrepreneurs that are ridiculously smart. Granted, there's going to be way more guys in San Francisco than girls, just because San Francisco is a tech hub, obviously. So it's going to bring in a ton more programmers or a ton more guys that are in tech. So there's way more guys than girls. So just like, say, New York has fashion. So there's a lot more female people in New York than guys. So you got that. So we're kind of at a little disability in that sense. The main thing that Ned and I and a bunch of our other friends have gone through is some of these amazing girls are used to millionaires, if not billionaires, putting them on such a pedestal, and they're getting, hey, we can take you out flying on a date and take you to this. We'll fly you to Hawaii, we'll fly you to the Caymans, yada, yada. So I'm a kind of a blue collar worker. I like to think I have a decent job, but competing with these ultra multimillionaires is a little tough. Would you agree, Ned?
Yeah, that's why, you just don't compete. Like for me, I always thought like expand your circle of people that you know and try to go out of your way to maybe meet different types of people in different like socioeconomic, groups. Honestly, I think Sean's problem in like is his pool. He stays in his pool in his comfort zone, and which makes sense because he lives in a certain part of the city and he has a certain group of friends, and that's comfortable. And then you go to certain venues, but I think it's all about branching out and going to places maybe you wouldn't normally go to and talking to people you wouldn't normally talk to. Whole worlds open up when you talk to people that you normally wouldn't think about or walk by, or they're not part of your friend circle, or they're not from your work, or they're not in the same category of like interest or they don't have the same hobbies as you. Anything, just any people that you may not have thought to interact with is like a good thing when you're stuck limbo of just like the same carbon copy person over and over again. And there's the money thing where there's a lot of girls that come here, like Sean was saying, they're like looking for guys that have a 6-figure salary and they're looking for, they have a certain concept of the guy that they want because they're in the epicenter of where those guys are.
Wait, I want to go back to Sean. First, I want to challenge, there are two things I want to just challenge a little bit. One is the ratio, because I've been thinking about this for a while. When I lived in SF, it was like, there are way more men than women. It's actually very much evened out in the last few years. Now it's 51.4% male to 48.6% female. You're pretty much at like a 50-50 to me. And then also to the money part of it all. When you say these men have so much money, where are you getting the evidence that all these women just want to go after these guys who have the money? Are you seeing this on a day-to-day basis?
No, I feel like we're going after it on like firsthand experiences and stuff. I had a fantastic first couple of dates and I thought everything was going well. And then I talked to her mutual friend and she's like, well, yeah, she had to choose between you or a .com billionaire. He's flying her down to Tahiti this weekend. And that's happened like 3 different times. So maybe I'm a little biased on that. They're going to choose a person that can fly you out on their private jet over the guy that's just taking you out on a regular date. It's been annoying for just to say the least.
But I think like there's a certain bracket of people that you're talking about here. I mean, there's a lot of girls that aren't impressed by material wealth. I think you're neglecting a whole subset of people in your focus. For some reason, you're focusing on a certain type of girl that you're going after. If you really view it that way, I mean, there are a lot of those types around here. You might be focusing a little too much on them. Like I just, I will not, if I was still single, I just wouldn't pay those people any mind and just keep going until I found someone that didn't give a shit how crappy my car is and actually found it entertaining.
So I guess, Ned, did you experience this as well, or was this like a non-issue for you?
It was less of an issue because, I'm not even close to being in the running of even in appearance. Like I wear old t-shirts with pictures of Bob Ross on them and stuff and like, and ripped clothing and stuff. So like just from the get-go, if I was to go on a date with somebody like that, or I wouldn't even get to that point because it would be on the dating app or in person and they know what they're getting. Cause it's like, I'm not trying to like put on any appearances and I'm a lot bummier looking than Sean. Sean knows how to dress, like he goes out, he's presentable. He's obviously got a job. So when you present yourself in a certain way, Sean likes he's very chivalrous. He's old fashioned. He likes to show women that, he's the man. He's got a job. He's going to buy them drinks. He's going to take them out on like a romantic date. And like, he's everything these Disney princesses have always wanted. And so that also creates a problem where he's going on dates with the Disney princesses instead of the manic pixie, gothy, like ripped, freaking leggings girl. Those are the people that I go for more. Like just, but we're all different. Our personalities are all different. Sean has a concept of like what he wants, and for better or for worse.
It's fascinating what Ned is saying, though, that you are picking a specific type of girl. And I'm only saying this because Julie and I have a ton of girlfriends in SF, and none of them have ever been flown on a private jet or ended up with a tech billionaire. Actually, most of them married someone not in tech at all. So those were girls, definitely were in the dating pool at one point in time that you probably never crossed paths with. So are you... Maybe, Ned, you have the stronger opinion on this. Are you picking specific girls who are specifically looking for this like 0.001% tech billionaire type?
I hope I'm not anymore. I feel like I'm graduating a little bit from it. I think at first that was the kind of people I would hang out with a lot. And so now I'm trying to diversify myself a little bit from it. I'm just saying it's hard for young guys and like my fellow coworkers and stuff that just in trying to impress a girl on the first date from a guy going out in Sonoma County, just taking a girl out for a drink there is a lot easier than taking a girl out for a drink here in San Francisco.
Look, Sean, I'm going to interject here. I don't have a lot of money. And when I take a girl out on a date, like from Tinder or Hinge or whatever, I had a good thing going because I found a cheap way to take them out on dates. I would just like invite them to a beach bonfire and bring cheap beer and some chicken tenders. And then we'd talk And then sometimes we'd hook up in front of the bonfire, which was awesome, or go skinny dipping in the middle of the night in the ocean. And all of it was cool. And I'm just saying, like, that's a filter. Even just suggesting that the ones that suck are the ones that you're not trying to go for anymore and have around, the ones that like the rich, the gold diggers or whatever, they're going to peace out. And then you're going to be left with people that are like, whoa, that sounds like a fun thing to do. Wow, they're like a real human being and they have a personality and they're going to go and, hey, I'll take a risk. And they're kind of a cool person that's going to do that. You know, like the girl Paige that I met through YouTube. I was digging down in the Independence Valley. I was like, hey, do you want to come? You want to drive here from LA and come and meet up with two strange dudes digging holes? And she's like, sure. And I liked her attitude. And so it's just you filter them in a different way. You tell them things that are like you're passionate about. You hang out with them in a real way. And if they don't like it, then that's on them.
And I want to come back to all of this because I think what you're saying is it's all about compatibility more than these like surface level, superficial traits, which I could not agree more on. But I want to dial back to Sean because I've known you for a long time. And I was very shocked actually when you sent the text saying that like this is what you thought was holding you back. Because I'm clearly not going to like ask you how much you make or anything like that on this podcast. I guess like my perception has never been like you're like not doing well for yourself. Like you have a great condo, like you have a good job. I guess I'm still confused. Like, who are you comparing yourself? Are we really talking these like 0.001% billionaires? Or are we talking about like the average tech people? Because like, I know your circle, at least some of them, not all of them. And a lot of them are not this 0.001%. Like a lot of them are just, you know, people that are working and doing a good job and doing their thing and make a good living, but they're not multi-billionaires.
No, okay. So I'll go to New York, I'll go to Austin, I'll go to San Diego, I'll go to LA, and my friends will go too. And we'll go on Bumble, we'll go on Hinge. The girls will light up. There'll be 10 times more than we get here. And my platonic friends, I look on their Hinge in San Francisco, they're like, oh, we have 50 to 100 people, guys hitting us up. My guy friends, like, we'll go 20%. We'll show them the difference. Yeah. And it's like...
Actually, I can verify this too.
Yeah,
Actually, there's something to that.
Well, that's a guy thing across the board, not just in the city. Like across the board.
No. Actually, I can verify what he's saying. There is a strange... I don't know what the hell it is. Okay, here's my theory. There's a magnetic energy field in San Francisco that attracts douches. It's always been that way because there was a gold rush here and it attracted greedy people in the 1850s that were like, oh, I'm going to roll down a hill covered in butter and then by the time I get to the bottom, I'll be covered in gold. And they really thought that. So people from all over the world came here to try to get rich. And then in the tech boom, everyone comes to try to get rich. So it's a very materialistic kind of douchey city. And there's this weird energy field of douche. It's like talking to a freaking wall sometimes. And I'm not sure. And maybe it's the same way with the guys. This is just my perspective talking to girls. It was really weird. And then when I'd go to other cities, like any other city, even a financial capital like New York, Chicago, Louisville, wherever, and you talk to these girls and you're like, whoa, they're like human. Why are they talking to me this way? They're talking to me like a person. There was a strange difference. And I'm not saying all girls in San Francisco are like this, but it does attract a certain type of energy. And in my experience talking, and in Sean's experience talking to women in the city, there's a kind of a dominant theme in personality it's weird. It's hard to explain.
And to jump in more what he's saying too, and I'm totally guilty of this. I'm sure many other people are too, is I think we're always trying to find the next better thing. No one wants to settle, obviously.
That's urban dating on dating apps in general.
I guess like I'm still confused. Like, who are you comparing yourself to? Because I know a lot of your friends, they've all found significant others. They're not tech millionaires.
I would say half of them have.
Okay. But half have it. Ned here has found someone. He's been dating someone for 3 years, right? So I guess like, doesn't that disprove this a little? Like, does it go back to just like, we're just choosing the wrong people?
That could be a strong possibility.
That's what I've said the whole time to you.
And also, no, but at the same time, I've dated some fantastic girls and I've had some great long-term girlfriends too. And I think a lot of it's the two long-term girlfriends, it came down to, I wanted to have kids and they didn't. So that was kind of the major issue. 5 years together. So I'm not trying to just find a be a perfectionist on.
Julie, what are you asking with the comparison thing? So you're saying, like, from what Sean is saying, that he's maybe comparing himself to people that are not him, instead of just like focusing on who he is in relating to others, and maybe that's his issue? Is that what you're getting at?
I mean, absolutely. And I just think it might be a limiting belief holding you back. I guess that's what I'm trying to say here. And I think it's totally valid. We know a lot of men put a lot of worth to like income and monetary value. It's similar, like women, clearly we have the threshold of insecurities that potentially can get in your way when dating. And I guess just it was a surprise when you brought it up, because I wouldn't want that to like get in the way of you thinking like there's not someone out there for you, or someone that's going to like you for you and the compatibility.
No, I don't necessarily think that's holding me back. I think that's just an issue for some of the guys in our area here. I think it's a lot easier for a guy that's out of a big city that has a strong job and owns his own place.
That's
has his stuff
Yeah,
together.
that is you.
Yeah.
No, I get that, but I'm saying that's a lot for the dating pool. He's a lot better. He's not in a tech-centric city like we are in, like where everybody else has that kind of same thing.
Well, yeah, we're just talking about in general now, about like, how do you see yourself, and do you trust that you are enough? Like, you don't need to say, hey, I have this great place, and I have a great job, and I have all these external things, and my friends have a boat that you can come on. You don't have to say all that. The first step is trusting in that you are cool. Like, just you, just wearing some crappy clothes, and you. And then if the girl accepts you as being who you are, then that's the beauty of it.
I just want to get to the bottom of where we're collecting this evidence still, because again, as I mentioned, Julie and I have a bunch of girlfriends. 100% of them did not end up with with guys in tech. Like, the one person that did is because she's been with him since college and he happened to go into tech. Everybody else ended up with someone not in tech. I would argue a lot of them are not that wealthy. So it's interesting that you're collecting this evidence as a reason for why it's challenging in San Francisco, when we have all this evidence to prove that it hasn't been challenging for a lot of these guys not in tech. In fact, for you, I think it's actually quite a benefit for you to be the guy that's not in tech. Like, I think people probably love meeting you.
Dating is all anecdotal evidence. Like, you don't have any other evidence as a person who's dating except for your own experience.
Right. And that's why it can become like limiting beliefs though, right?
Right. Yeah, it can ingrain into your, for sure. That I was thinking a lot about that, where it's like your belief systems become ingrained, and then you start seeing the world that way, and you start judging other people before you even get to know them based on your belief systems. That when enough time passes, that they become, solidified into your thinking. So that can be a problem for sure. That's a big hindrance.
Let's hold that thought, because we have a quick message from our sponsors.
These days, I'm all about quality over quantity, especially in my closet. If it's not well made and versatile, it's just not worth it to me. That's honestly why I love Quince. The fabrics feel elevated, the cuts are thoughtful, and the pricing actually makes sense. My entire wardrobe at this point is pretty much Quince. Their cotton V-neck tee is my go-to, whether it's a nice day on its own or for any layering. It just feels so luxe and comfortable, and was a fraction of the price of anywhere else I looked. And that's because Quince works directly with safe, ethical factories and cuts out the middlemen. You're not paying for brand markup or fancy retail stores, just quality clothing. Right now, go to quince.com/dateable for free shipping and 365-day returns. That's a full year to wear it and love it, and you will. Now available in Canada too. Don't keep settling for clothes that don't last. Go to quince.com/dateable for free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/dateable. Watching our loved ones age is one of life's toughest transitions. It can be stressful to take care of a loved one, and I've had many friends been really overwhelmed trying to balance work, their children, and the rest of life at the same time. If you don't know where to start, Care.com is here to help you breathe breathe again. You can browse background-checked in-home caregivers or explore local senior living communities. At care.com, you'll find specialized support for everything from meal prep to support for loved ones with dementia, backed by real reviews from families just like yours. And care.com has safety and hiring tools so you can hire with confidence. Or you can even get a senior care advisor plan and talk to a master's level social worker to build a personalized care plan for you. We're partnering with care.com because it really is an easier way to find help. For a limited time, go to care.com and use the code DATEABLE for 20% off your initial care.com subscription or a senior care advisor plan. That's DATEABLE, all one word. With care.com, start your senior care journey with confidence.
I mean, what I can see as a problem, I'm not saying this is you, Sean, but I do see some guys trying to come off from a first impression, trying to come off as someone they're not. And then they end up not being able to fulfill that image. Like some guys come in hot with the, let me get all this for you. I got this covered. We can go to my vacation home, just that whole bit. And then they're not able to like actually close the loop on that image. Like, what is the vibe you're coming off as? And I guess maybe Ned, you have a better perspective if you're looking at it from the outside. What is that vibe that Sean is giving off?
You freaking nailed it. It's when my experience going out with Sean is like he tries to lead on like, here's what I do and here's what I have, and instead of like, here are my interests, and here, he's very good at asking girls questions about what their interests are and who they are, and engaging with them in that sense. But then I honestly feel like you just, when you're trying to like get to know a girl, when you first met them and you're interacting with them, you kind of like, you fall back on what you have instead of who you are. I really see that.
I disagree on that.
Initially, I'm saying initially, you lead with that.
No, I mean, there's maybe, I feel like that maybe 10 years ago. I mean, granted, when we're with our buddies and stuff, like, hey, yeah, would you all like to go sailing? That's a cool thing to do and stuff. But of
what do you
course,
like one-on-one with a girl on a date then these days? What do you
want to know? I get to know them. I want to know them.
I know that, but like, how do you like convey yourself to them? When you're one-on-one with them, not out with your buddies, because you're saying you act different when you're out with your friends at a bar or in a social environment, whatever. How do you convey your identity to these girls when you're out on dates with them?
Well, give me a specific question.
It is a specific question.
I tell them what I want, and I tell them like, this is me, and I ask them about themselves, and I want to know their true self.
All right. Well, yeah. Going out with you, that's what my observation was. But if you're saying you do that on one-on-one when I'm not there or I don't see it, that's good.
Right. I mean, obviously no one knows unless we do a dating experiment someday of what happens on the date. But I get, I mean, I guess I've known you for a while, and it seems like you don't have trouble getting girls. Like, I guess where, in your opinion, do you think it breaks apart? Like, is it that it's not a problem to like hook up and casually date and then, people don't want more? Or is it that the people that's happening with aren't the people you want because you're looking for these people that maybe, are getting whisked away on a private jet or whatever?
I mean, there's so many different attributes of why it didn't work. Probably half of it's on me, half of it's on them. I work a crazy schedule where I work night shifts, and so I don't have Friday and Saturday nights off. But I feel like the girls that I want are perfectionists, and I feel like I'm probably a perfectionist too.
You are so picky.
Yeah, I am picky, but that's
picky.
I'm going after very, very
picky, and that's
but I'm going after very picky women too.
Oh, so it's cyclical.
A lot of words for saying that you're scared to be vulnerable too. I think you hesitate being vulnerable to people, and especially that you're just
perhaps right away. Yeah, that's probably deep seated where. Yeah. I'm a child of divorce. Yeah. I don't want to, if you're going all in with someone, you want to make it work for the long run. So I probably pick little things out, that cracks that maybe someone else would overlook, that I should maybe I don't want to settle, and I don't want to be with someone and then be unhappy in the long run.
Oh.
But your idea of settling is if they don't meet like 100 different specific criteria, that's the problem.
Yeah, that is a problem.
I mean, this is something that's so common in dating. So it's not just you, Sean. Like, this is something that is so prevalent. But I think where there's the shift that can happen is no one is telling you to settle. Absolutely not. Like, you should be with someone that you are so excited about, that you love so much, that brings you so much joy. Like, no one is telling you to settle. But I think it's the shift that, like, Ned was talking about, of looking at, like, the compatibility factors. We actually had a super interesting episode that we talked to Dr. Paul Eastwick, who runs the attraction lab at UC Davis. And he was talking about how there's just so much emphasis on all of these characteristics, and they just don't ultimately matter for happiness in a relationship. It's the compatibility, the bond we form with another human. It's more like, maybe it's thinking about, like, am I actually focusing on traits that matter, or am I just, like, making it unnecessarily difficult?
It's also the way you think. It's like we have a mutual friend, and he said something one time that I thought was really profound. Because I get picky too. I have the same. It's like, oh wait, maybe she's, like, maybe she's gonna get fat in 15 years and all that other douchey stuff that goes through my mind. I admit it. It's bullshit. He said this one time. He's like, all you need to do for that specific issue, if you're having that pickiness problem, is that you find one body part that makes you aroused, turns you on, and then you focus on that one body part, and then the rest will come. Then you get to know the person, and maybe you fall in love with who the person is, and then the other shit ceases to matter. I mean, like, just today we were walking and we saw, like, a objectively hot girl. You found a problem with her. Let's just put it that way, okay. And it was very minimal.
And just go back to Ned too. I'm just wondering, honestly, if your girlfriend didn't hit you up from outside of San Francisco, do you think you honestly would have found a compatible girl in this city, being a blue collar guy?
No.
See?
But that's me. Tough. It's because I'm just basing that on 20 years. But, also the caveat is, people change, and maybe I would change enough to open, and whole new worlds open up as soon as you do some self-therapy.
Don't you think it would be tough, like, not having a high...
This is me personally. Like, you have everything you need to, like, successfully date in a big city. You have a job. You look presentable wearing clothes. You freaking have a car that works.
You wear clothes.
Like, you have all the. You have everything. You have a big circle of friends. So the big question is, what the hell? Like that's the great mystery. I trip out sometimes just wondering why the hell you're still single, and I can only come to the conclusion that it's the way you're presenting yourself. It's your outlook. There's something stopping you from finding these people, and you're not looking in the right places, and you're not being the you that is going to attract the real one.
Well, I'm definitely trying.
I know you're trying. I see you trying.
I'm going out to many different. I see.
He's trying like crazy. He's joining running groups. Did you go to church yet?
Oh,
to go to church? Places you'd never. Yeah. This guy's trying everything, so that's why I even more think that it's something in your mind.
And I don't mean to sound like a jerk, but I am. I don't know if I'm too picky or something, but.
Yes. Yeah. Answer is yes.
I guess, Sean, how are you feeling? Like, I want to check in with you. Like, do you think there's any valid points here, or do you feel?
No, absolutely.
Okay. We're not trying to, like, gang up on you in any way. If anything, it's like we want you to find someone amazing.
No, I appreciate it, and Ned is a broken record on this too. But it's not like, at the same time, sometimes I feel like I date someone a little too long.
Yeah.
And maybe I'm settling, but I'm trying to make it work. So, and then I'm like, well, why did I take so much time dating that one person when I kind of felt like she wasn't the one? But then I'm like thinking, well, am I being too picky?
Yeah, maybe that thing in your brain telling you she isn't the one is a problem in your brain. That's not really,
But you've probably met a few girls.
I met one that I was like, if you don't freaking stay with this chick, you are insane.
Okay.
She like freaking cooked me chicken and cookies and I was like, this girl's ready to marry somebody. She's hot. She makes money. She's like everything.
I could care less about.
I know, but I'm saying she's a functional person, and she was a good person.
But what was her issue?
Her issue. I just.
But she was hot as shit.
No, but like, sometimes when you kiss someone, you just don't feel it. And I just didn't, the sparks weren't there.
Gotta look at
honestly.
the reason why the sparks weren't there. I don't know if it's,
Huh.
I don't know.
She was cool and fantastic, and I have nothing, and I'm still friends with her. And I've tried and be friends with 90% of the girls that I date too. I don't know, maybe interview them.
Our friends, like Ned, for instance, I think our friends do see a side that we don't always see. Like, as you know, I can see it on my friends, for instance. But I do also agree with you, Sean, that like maybe Ned is looking at you at a different stage of your life, and like clearly at the end of the day, we know ourselves as well. I think they're both valid points, right? Like, it's good to see an outside perspective, but then only us knows what we really want. And of course, it's not fair to this girl for you to like stay with this girl if you're really not attracted to her. But how do we trust our intuition, but also realize where maybe some of our shortcomings might be?
You have to question what's making you attracted or not attracted to a person. Because the last long-term relationship you were in freaking was a toxic relationship. And you guys, and she would drink a lot and like a mess. Like, why were you so attracted to her, but not this other girl that made me chicken and cookies and was ready to go? Freaking custom made to order, super hot girl.
Ned was sold.
That's like, get back with the chicken, girl. I want more chicken.
Yeah.
It's all about the
I'm
chicken.
hungry.
to be fair, she lived 2 blocks away, so it was also convenient. And also the honest answer, the sex was fantastic. And
But why was it sexy?
it just was. And so I think
Because she was toxic.
We're on. I disagree on that, but I mean, we had agreed like friends with benefits, and I realized that's not healthy for long term, especially if I'm trying to find a girlfriend.
Yeah.
So that's my honest answer of why we stayed together for so long.
Sean, with this last girl, or the one that Ned was just talking about, was it like, ew? Or was it like, oh, just no sparks? Because there's a difference there.
No, it was just no spark. She was fantastic. She's a very beautiful girl, very ambitious. And I tried. That was the thing too. Like, he gives me crap about this.
I know you
but
tried.
I told me would have stopped after like the 3rd or 4th date, and I like did 8, 9 dates, and I tried to make it work, but I had to be honest with myself. I'm like, this isn't going to work.
Yeah, but
long
I
term.
acknowledged that you tried, but I also said maybe you have to look at the reason why you're not attracted to someone like that, because I don't know. In my opinion, it wasn't a good reason, and I think you're sabotaging yourself with who you're attracted to and who you're not attracted to.
That might be a little bit fair, but at the same time, you know if you're attracted to someone or you're not.
It's not going to be Chicken Girl. Chicken Girl is not your end game.
They cook an amazing chicken, though.
It's just not a binary. Like,
Yeah.
you can be naturally not attracted to someone, or you can be artificially not attracted to someone because of the way you've built up your psychology over the years that's become ingrained.
Yes.
That's my opinion.
But okay,
But
okay, bring it back, because I have questions. Sean, you have a different relationship with both Julie and Ned. You and I have the lightest friendship, right? Like, we've known each other, but I don't really know you. So this is my first time hearing you speak in this tone. My impression of you has always been the party guy, the guy that didn't want to settle, the guy that's surrounded by girls, the guy that doesn't want a girlfriend. You never explicitly said that to me, but that was the image that you were given off, at least to me. So I want to hear from your mouth, not from Ned. I want to hear from your mouth. What are you looking for?
I'm looking for a girl that wants to settle down. I want to have a family. I want to have kids. And I feel like time is running out. And what's difficult for me is meeting a girl that is of a certain age, that maybe has she frozen her eggs? Is she willing to try for her kids, like in her late 30s, early 40s? And at the same time, a really good person. And it's tough to ask a girl on the first couple of dates, like, are you 100% down to have kids?
You have to ask screening questions to see if you like them.
I don't know, girls.
For...
What do you think? Don't you think I should ask those screening questions, because I don't want to waste their time?
I mean, before we go into that, though, I just want to like recognize like how like authentic and, vulnerable that sounded. And I feel like if that was like the energy, like that's not even talking about the different like, superficial traits as much. Again, we're not saying don't end up with someone you're not attracted to, but we're not like nitpicking and finding everything wrong. I think leading with what you just said is so Like that is going to put you in the right direction. And I do think you can have those conversations early on to your question. Like it doesn't need to be maybe the first thing out of your mouth, but I think in the first couple dates, you can get a feel of like where someone's at family wise. I think someone would actually be refreshed to hear that. But I do agree, like you also need to like the person.
Do you know how many women write to us every day who ask, should I ask if he wants kids on the first date? Like how many women grapple with this question already? But if you brought it up, I think it would feel, for the right girl, it would feel liberating for her. Like she doesn't need to be the one to be bringing it up.
I feel like I'm not going to speak for all women, but at least like, the types of women that we hear from on this podcast, not just even Yue and I, but just overall, I think someone would be so much more into the side that you just showed of being vulnerable, sharing what you want in a future, like someone that's future planning, then am I going to like take you on vacation on the third date? Like that, like is such a different vibe. And I think if you're actually looking for someone that's aligned with what you just said and not the party lifestyle, then you have that stuff already.
I'm going to interject on that one though, just in my opinion. You also don't want to sound like you're making an itinerary for what you want. You want to like let the date and the interaction happen and see if you guys just like each other. See if the energy of the two people connects and is a good dynamic. I mean, you don't want to be like asking them a bunch of these like technical questions at the same time. You should do it organically, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. You're not like date reviewing them. Like, when are you ready to have kids? Like, I
Those
think
are creepy.
And that's why I said like, you need to like the person. Like we can't like remove that from the equation. Like clearly you need to vibe with this person. It doesn't matter if you both want kids, if you don't like each other. But I do think you can put it out there and it doesn't need to be like, I'm ready to have kids tomorrow, but it could just be like, where are you at life? Like what's important to you right now? And just like see how the convo flows also.
Yeah.
You know what's so sexy? If a guy says, my vision for the future is to build a family with someone. Like that is not, are you ready to have kids? That's like, you want to build a family with someone? That sounds so like I feel taken care of. I feel like that's so sexy to me. And that already feels like there's a bond there. My follow-up question to you from my earlier question is, what do you think is the worst thing that will happen if you choose the wrong partner?
Like if I were to get married to her? Yeah.
Sure.
I just see so many of my colleagues ending in bitter divorces where their kids are in, therapy. They're not getting child custody. It's a huge, expensive divorce. They're battling each other. Like I never want to be bitter at the exes that I have. And I don't, So I would hate to ever get in bitter divorce with someone.
What, so you're not going to go on a great vacation because you're scared to fly in the plane because it might crash? I mean, like that's what you're saying right now.
Well, I think it's interesting because again, Sean, like so many people have this exact same mindset on it that it feels almost like easier to control that by saying like, I have this list of all the things I want in a partner and being quote unquote picky. It almost feels like you've control over that. Like, okay, if I don't pick right, or if I do pick right, like that will prevent this from happening. But like what Ned was just saying is like the reality of any long-term relationship is like, we can only, take a leap and hope for the best and have the tools to like work through something. The reality is like what you just said. The reason isn't going to be like if someone is 5'3" instead of 5'5". Like that's not going to be the reason like the whole thing unravels, right? But it feels like easier to control that because it's so tangible.
Yeah, no, I'm with you 100% on that.
But don't you have like a fear that they're going to, you're not going to be attracted to them in the future because they're going to change and then like,
well, we all get old and ugly, so.
Specimen, and I keep telling you, dude, we all get old and ugly. And it's like you have to have faith that you're gonna fall in love with them. You have to let yourself fall in love.
That is true, and I do want to marry my best friend and stuff. But at the same time, I think I'm human. I want to still be attracted to my wife or my girlfriend in 20 years.
But attraction is what you create with the other person. It's the dynamic you create. Well, you're not considering that possibility. You're just looking at them visually.
Where's that fear coming from? Is that the reason for your parents' divorce?
No, I think my parents got divorced because they met way too early and they didn't know each other. They were just in their young 20s and they took a leap and they didn't really know each other. I'd like to think I've gone through some good therapy, know myself, know what I want right now, it's just kind of difficult. And I feel like and this is bringing it back to the San Francisco thing, like I can retire in a few years. And if I'm still single in 4 years, I'm moving out of San Francisco because I think it's going to be so much easier to find a wife outside of
Where? In a small town? Where they're
yeah,
all taken?
Yeah. No, not necessarily, but like
No, you're just escaping.
Yeah.
Maybe
You can't get away from yourself.
I am glad that you said that because like we've just heard this so much from people like in all cities, like it's across the board. That's the part that's always so funny because this started as a dating in San Francisco podcast, right? And we soon realized that of course there's some nuance between different cities, of course, like we're not going to debate that. Overall, the same issues are everywhere. Like the same feelings and the same, like, dating is so hard. There's so many other people to compete with. Like all of that exists everywhere for men and women.
No, I was just going to agree with you because like now the competition really rings true because it's like there's just so many more people you're competing against because everything's online.
Yes.
So you have, people can choose from this menu on these dating apps whereas 30 years ago, you just meet someone in an elevator. And then if you don't meet another person in an elevator, maybe you commit to dating that person until either it doesn't work or you meet someone else at a bus stop or an elevator. But now there's no time to, people don't meet that way anymore. So it's just this mess where everybody's alone with option paralysis. Yeah.
I was just going to make the point that you do know most divorces don't end because someone stopped being attracted to the other person, right? That is not even in the top 10 reasons of a divorce. Okay. I just want to make sure you know that.
I want to dive into this even more, but before we do, let's take a quick break to hear from our partners. I do think those, like, Sean, you brought up something interesting about like taking a leap versus a calculated risk. And I think no one is advising like go in blind and don't ask any questions and just, I mean, I think we're already in our 40s, so we have time on our side on that. But I think there's this element of the calculated risk of like, I can't predict what's going to happen in 10 years and 20 years, but I can at least find someone that like has the qualities that I know makes a good partner. I'm attracted to them. Again, no one is saying don't be attracted to this person. And then I can work through things with someone. Those are like the elements of like, we're not going to go in blind, but we also like understand that we can't predict everything either.
Yeah, that's really fair, Julie. I appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
I guess like, how do you feel from this conversation? Is there anything that you can take away of how we'll focus more on like finding someone aligned and compatible? Like looking at values and interests and core selves over more of the superficial, like more market way of dating of like, they have this quality and that quality and all of that.
I honestly want a girl that has a huge heart and would be a great mother. And the older I get, it's even more attractive now is I want a best friend, someone that I can hang out with all the time and not get tired of and that will, I can count on. So that's way more attractive to me than it was 10 years ago.
Yeah,
so,
stability.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So stability is
when you
huge.
get older, you want stability more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But how long have you and Ned been best friends? How long did you say?
We're like
10.
10.
Okay,
Basically.
so best friends don't come overnight. Like you're not going to go on 9 dates with someone and they become your best friend.
Of course.
Yeah,
yes.
exactly.
Right. That's a good point. You got to develop that trust. Of course.
You have to be open to and vulnerable to develop. If you're not vulnerable for somebody, they're not going to open up and be vulnerable for you. You have to say like, this is me, not say, but be yourself and convey yourself and be completely honest, maybe to a fault.
So Ned, I've heard this 100 times from him, but Julie, you two are the experts. What has worked for both of you?
Whoa.
I think honestly, a lot of the stuff that Ned is saying, I'm not trying to.
How dare you?
He actually is speaking. I was just going to say, I think we need to change this show format to bringing two best friends on, and they just basically co-host each other because I think
and then we'll just take notes.
So Ned hits so much, and I mean, I know that's not what you want to hear, but I do think ultimately it does come from that shift of like, who can I be myself with? Who can I feel good around? Who do I like feel like I can talk to for hours? And who am I still attracted to? I think for me, getting rid of the list was actually so important. And I ended up actually getting a lot of the qualities on the list anyways. But I got rid of the list. I ripped off the list and got rid of it. And I wasn't going into every date looking for every last thing they had. I was going into the date feeling the vibe and like, is this someone that I just want to continue to see and get to know more? And I enjoy being around and is aligned with what I'm looking for in the future and committed and all the things that like I know were important to me.
It's super natural the way that happens. Like if you let a lot of the list stuff go and you stop like searching so hard and you stop like looking for this theoretical person, you know, someone who's just perfect for you will come along, but you have to have faith that that's going to happen because of the energy you put out there.
It's that attraction energy that Ned put out there with his bottle digging. It's like you attracted to the right person, like they just came to you.
Yeah.
I know that the work I've done was removing the fears that I had. And before I removed the fears, the right people, I was not feeling attraction towards them because I did not open up that side of myself. And my example for you, this is not you, but this is my example, is I was so fearful of losing my independence in a relationship that anybody who was good for me, who I knew I could have a long-term relationship with, I immediately felt no attraction towards them because I knew that would challenge my need to be independent, right? So when I worked on removing that fear of independence and telling myself, what if I can keep my independence and in fact amplify my independence in a relationship, I was able to become attracted to the people who are good for me. So I would go back and, you know, you don't have to do this as we're talking live, but think about what is the fear? What are you so fearful of that you can work on removing before placing all this onus and focus on the other person? It's actually not about the women you're dating. It's about what is stopping you from opening yourself fully up to the right person.
Oh, yeah.
I think that honestly leads to my takeaways from this too. It's like ultimately we need to ask, like, what are we optimizing for? Status and, you know, the qualities we think that we should have versus intimacy at the end of the day. And I think what you were saying, Yue, it's like when you start to optimize for intimacy, all these other people, all the competition, like that fades away. You're trusting yourself that you'll like find the right person that will vibe with you. And it doesn't matter who else is out there. It doesn't matter if they're getting whisked away. And I think Ned is like case in point on that. It's like they will come and like all these other people out there, I think it's all distraction when we're focused on other people. And like the feeling that like it's so hard to date because of this, that's all valid. Like no one's saying that it's wrong. Like we can feel however we want to feel. But the question is like, how much are we going to let that get in our way? Like who cares about all these other dudes? Let them go whisk away this girl and do all the things. Ultimately, like someone wants to settle down with someone, like the person you described, Sean, of like, I'm looking for someone to start a family with. Like I want to be that person. And like all the qualities you bring to the table is so much more attractive to the right person.
It's fair. No, I love that.
Hey, how much did this therapy session join us?
Yeah. We charged $350 an hour.
What a deal.
It's $350 now because it's two of you. Gosh, this is such a different side of you, Sean, that I haven't seen before. And I wonder that if you are bringing this side on dates. And I do wonder if you're able to talk about some of these fears that you discuss with us with your dates. I think the most connected I ever felt to someone was when I told them about my fears, my fear of losing my independence, my fear of choosing the wrong person and then being stuck in a relationship feeling lonely as fuck. Those were my fears. And if I openly talked about them with someone and they were receptive to it, and in fact, they ran towards me instead of away from me, I knew that there was something worthy of exploration there to go deeper with. So I feel like don't be afraid to not just be yourself, but also like talk about all the things on your mind. You've shown so many layers of who you are today that I didn't know. Even since knowing you since like 2015, I've never known this side of you before. And I do wish more women that you're going on dates with would see this side of you because it does bring out a different vibe.
Exactly.
Well, thank you.
It's hard. You're in the hot seat tonight.
I mean, the last takeaway I have, and actually, Ned, you kind of said this. I actually overheard a girl, Sean, so I get what you're saying. I heard a girl at a bar once say that she moved to San Francisco and she only wanted to date CEOs. And like, I listened to this conversation. I'm like, I feel bad for this girl. I honestly feel bad that this is the mindset she's in. So Ned said this earlier. It's like those people are always going to exist, but you got to choose, like, do I go after them or do I go after like a different person that wants to find someone they're compatible with that doesn't really care about like all of that?
Yeah, that's true. 100%.
Which involves, trying to really do some self-examination of like, what am I attracted to?
Yeah.
And if I'm attracted to people like that, why? And then how can I fix that? And
No one's telling you to settle, though. Just want to make that clear. Do not settle.
No. I didn't. Freaking this perfect girl came
Right.
from nowhere. She's like hot and she has like really cool red hair.
But if you
and
didn't
she
have-
just came
but-
out of the ether, dude.
However, at the same time, if Ned didn't have his bottle digging with Ned on YouTube.
Oh yeah.
Plug.
But everyone needs to find their thing, right? Like everyone
Yeah.
has the thing that makes them magnetic, that makes them interesting. And it's like, how do you like just lean into those sides and like what's, the thing that's going to attract someone? It doesn't have to be bottle digging. Of course, yes, it makes it.
It's anything.
That's already taken.
For the longest time, I was like, I'm not gonna, go on dates and talk about this weird obsession I have. Who's gonna care about that? But then it's like, that was a stupid approach. Then you're just gonna attract people that don't care, and then it's like all wrong from the beginning. But
Right.
you just need that kind of stuff. If you open up and say, hey, I have this obsession with digging up old garbage from the 19th century, and I'm going to tell you about it a little bit, and then what do you think? And then like, this is my problem, this is my vulnerability, but it's also like awesome and I love it. And then you tell them all those details.
Yeah, if it's only that easy. I mean, girls.
Well, I do think I actually do think it is that easy. Like, I think it actually is. I think that's like a limit again, because while the right person, maybe 9 out of 10 people don't give a shit about bottles and move on, but those aren't your people. And who cares?
Yeah.
And it's like, maybe there's the one that's super jazzed about it, or maybe there's the two that's like, I don't even like bottles, but I like how jazzed you are about it. Those are the people you want.
Right. And it can translate to like not just your weird, obscure hobby or obsession, but it can translate to just like all the different things that make up who you are as an individual. Yes. And there's no one else like you in the world, but there's other people out there. There's a select few people out there that are going to completely be infatuated with you and love you for who you are individually.
You actually asked Sean like what a shift was earlier for both of us. I think for me, it was getting over rejection. I think for me, that was such a big thing for so long. And like the last time around when I was dating before I met my husband, like I just didn't care. And I was getting rejected more and more because I was actually being myself. And if that wasn't cool, like goodbye, like I'm good with it. And I think that shift was so monumental and something I'd never experienced before.
Wow.
That's it. No, I love that.
Are you scared of rejection at this point?
Of course, everybody is.
Well, not
right.
no.
Well,
like
I mean, no one
scared.
likes to get rejected. I don't think anyone's going to say it,
I'm
but
not
it's like,
I'm
yeah.
saying to the point of inaction, are you scared?
No, I mean, to a degree, like I probably do hold back as far as being vulnerable for sure.
Yeah.
And Julie, like, I think that's amazing that you were able to do that. And maybe that will help me too.
Yeah, I think so too.
Okay. Any other parting takeaways from both of you before we end?
I think you guys put it perfectly. I think you guys summed up this whole thing just absolutely perfectly. You put it articulate. What I was trying to say, I was like, "Bah!" But you put it all articulately, like so.
I think you did a great job. You said a lot of
best
honestly
friend
very
things.
dateable things. Yeah.
I think men should do more therapy sessions like this. That's my takeaway.
Yes. Group therapy, though, with each other.
But it's so good that you guys have each other too. I think I want to put that out there. Yeah.
But you need to talk to women too, because women, they're like different and stuff, and you need to like have a dialogue, and you need, maybe even with an ex or a friend of yours. That's what was a benefit when I was talking to girls on dating apps, and I was like, I'm just going to be friends with her. I'd ask them all kinds of questions. I'd have conversations like this, and it helped me a lot, like, what do women want to hear? What do women want? Great movie from 1997 with Mel Gibson.
Well, I think this was a really relatable conversation. I can see like people just being like, okay, I resonate, I'm here. And I think just putting it out there and pushing a little. So thank you for being along for this ride. And again, I think we need to really think about doing these BFF podcasts more often.
Yeah.
Keep it going. We're big fans.
You could charge for the
Yeah.
therapy sessions too. If anyone wants to watch the Digging Up Old Stuff archaeology YouTube channel, just go to Digging the Old West with Bottle Ned.
And we will link it in the show notes as well.
Need more viewers, I tell you. Precious likes and comments.
And if anyone wants to meet Sean, reach out to us.
Yes.
Yes.
I mean, I think he's a catch from being, I'm just a dude.
From
but
a male
what do I
model
know?
right here.
Although back to rejection, you and I were talking about this back in the day when we did this podcast. We had so many women reaching out, and now no one does anymore. And I think it comes down to rejection. So if people are feeling that way, like, take your shot. Who cares? And if it doesn't work out, like, who cares?
Yeah, Sean is ready.
Okay, on that note, we're going to wrap up this episode. Thank you, Sean and Ned, for having this honest conversation.
Thanks, guys.
Stay dateable.
Hey, Sal.
Hank, what's going on? We haven't worked a case in years.
I just bought my car at Carvana, and it was so easy. Too easy.
Think something's up?
You tell me. They got thousands of options. Found a great car at a great price. And it got delivered the next day.
It sounds like Carvana just makes it easy to buy your car, Hank.
Yeah, you're right. Case closed.
Buy your car today on
Carvana.
Delivery fees may apply.
If you're a podcast host, listen up, this one's for you. My name is Allie Jackson. I'm the host of Finding Mr. Height, a dating and relationship podcast that I've been doing for 4 years now, sharing my positive and practical approach to dating that's built on my own life experience. And I wanted to share another experience that I've had, my secret behind monetizing my show. It's called Red Circle, and I was just telling my colleague about how much I love their platform. With Red Circle, not only am I getting a seamless hosting experience, but I also love the support I receive in ad sales. It's not just typical ad sales either. It's targeted opportunities based on my show and my life. And the platform is super simple. You just set your preferences and Red Circle matches you with sponsors that align with your show. You can vet every opportunity and their platform gives you great analytics. More recently too, my Red Circle team has brought me opportunities outside of my podcast on social media to really augment the podcast partnerships, bring them full circle. I just can't recommend them enough. If you want to give it a try, go to redcircle.com to get your free trial. That's redcircle.com for a free trial.